From Showtime and A24.
What do you love most about Whitney?
Comes a new series unlike any other.
Well, where do I even start?
Academy Award winner Emma Stone.
I like how you fight for us.
Nathan Fielder.
Money doesn't really matter when it's about doing the right thing.
And Benny Safdie.
You guys are strong, right? At the end of the day, you're going to survive, right?
Next question.
New episodes of The Curse, streaming now on Paramount Plus, only with the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
Enjoy basketball, soccer, and all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using bonus code LIBERTY and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Plus, when you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. Download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com and enter bonus code LIBERTY and place your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. Now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Hollywood Casino Morgantown.
Hey, it's Christine from Storyworthy. Today on the show, comedian James Veitch talks about how he scams the scammer.
I got an email from a really good friend of mine, a girl called Alex. They said, thanks for your response. I need $2,000 to pay hotel bills. Let me know what you can come up with. I realized that obviously it was a scam. I could just ignore the email or delete it or whatever. But I don't know why, but in the morning, I just thought, well, why not? And I said, Alex, but how on earth did this happen? And the game was afoot. I thought I just need to up the stakes. So I said, Alex, before I do this, and I want to, before I do this, tell me one thing. How was I as a lover?
Today on the show, comedian James Veitch talks about how he scams the scammer. Stay close.
Hey, it's James Veitch, and you're listening. What was it called? Storyworthy of Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show of almost 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be 10 years in July, or you're a new listener, welcome to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last week with comedian April Macy. Do you know April Macy, James?
I do not know, but obviously I should do.
Well, honestly, though, she is an internationally known comedian, and she's just super funny.
Yeah, but my agent tells me that I'm an internationally, and apparently that's not the case either. You just called me James Veitch, so I mean, who knows?
James Veitch. Listen, your last name is tricky. You have to admit that.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Yeah, I mean, my agent says he's getting the word out, but apparently that's not the case.
It is the case because I know you now. But listen, you guys, the point is, April Macy, super funny girl. She talks all about the travel ban and how her husband. She got married over in Santorini, Greece, and they planned to come back to the States, right? No, they wouldn't let her husband in the country because he has an Iranian passport. Anyway, it's a great show. Go back and listen to it. James, you look confused, but you won't be.
No, I was.
If you listen to the episode.
I will. I intend to.
Anyway, you guys, I'm super excited today to have a really interesting guest with me, James Veitch. And I have to tell you, this is one of the reasons why this whole isolation thing and being in quarantine has all of a sudden opened up new worlds for me, because before this all started, I had never done any remote podcasting, everybody was always right in front of me or in studio. And here I am talking to somebody across the pond. And James, I have to tell you, I've been watching so much of your content, and you are a funny dude.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah. And I'm very excited for your new book coming out called .con. which I have
Mhm.
to say, what a clever title. I don't believe nobody ever came up with that before. I mean, I've never heard it
I think my
before.
friend Max came up with it. I can't remember what the other one. Oh, I can't remember what other ones were in the offing, but they were not strong. Scammable, Scam Nation. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but .com seems good
Yeah,
with an N.
it's
You know,
really good. .con. I'm so excited to hear it. And your videos, I got to tell you, James, it's really impressive because you're doing something that's, I mean, yes, it's comedy, but there's another layer to it of seriously, man. It's like, it's kind of brilliant in a way. I mean, you're hitting on topics that everybody can relate to no matter.
yeah. Unfortunately, you peel away the layers. There's nothing there. It's just layers. You know, it's if you go too far with the onion, there's no dinner. You know, there's nothing.
You are so British. Let me ask you a few things about England right now. First of all,
Yes, I can tell you everything.
what city are you in?
I'm in London. I'm in North London currently.
Okay.
Very beautiful.
Okay. Is today actually beautiful or is it cold and rainy?
It's lovely. We've had some glorious weather. I put a hammock up on my kind of terrace and I just lay there for a little bit. Although I sort of and then a couple of weeks ago I put the hammock up and then it was too sunny and I was like, oh, that's just too much sun. And then I got so I got what is apparently called a sun sail, which sounds very sophisticated for what is essentially just a piece of tarpaulin that you kind of put up. And then I was like, oh, I've got no breeze. So then I brought a fan outside. I just don't understand. At what point should I just go inside? Because at what point am I not just bringing all the things that are inside outside? I think it's better just to be inside.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. That reminds me of here in California, every January 1st, they have a big football game called the Rose Bowl. And it's in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. It's very beautiful. It's always sunny, perfect weather. But you can go over there and you could look at the floats and it's really pretty it's amazing. It's stunning. It's beautiful. But in addition, there are people there in these RVs and they've been camped out for like 4, 5, 6 days a week waiting for the football game. But what the funny part is they bring like living room furniture, rugs, there's TVs outside, and they're outside this big camper. So it's just like you said, it's like at what point, why are you even in the camper? Or why did you leave?
It's delightful though to have things that are meant to be inside outside. Just like it's delightful if you've been on, a posh boat, one of those liners and someone's got basically a living room and it's a bit pokey, but it's like, wow, it's floating.
Yeah.
Anything displaced is cute, but I agree. That's called tailgating, isn't it? Is that what tailgating is?
That's right. It's called tailgating. Good on you. Now you did go to school here at Sarah Lawrence.
Yes. You could. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Briefly. Yeah.
Did
for
you?
a couple of years.
Okay. So you didn't graduate from there?
No, that sounded, no, I did a postgrad. I did graduate. That just, when I said briefly, yeah, that did sound very much like, yeah, I was there briefly. That did sound like, yeah, that's the right interpretation.
Okay. So how did you like America? What do you think of us over here? Besides the Donald Trump point, like how do you find America?
I like you guys, sugarcoat it. Listen, I enjoy it. I like Americans. I feel it's a bit frightening over there at the moment. But I've always liked America. That's why I went over there. I felt like the reason I went to Sarah Lawrence is because I wanted to sort of untether my intellect. And it's a great place to do that because they don't, you don't get grades at Sarah Lawrence. You get like an interpretive dance. You did blue. It was like their kind of. So it's a good place. But that's where I first started doing stand up as well. So I like America. I like it a lot. I've been to many different states that I hadn't been to before, and it's always also for me. This is the way America is going to win whatever culture wars there are. It's because they just make all the movies. And so when I was growing up as a child, and then I go to America and it feels like a movie. Everything down, all the little things that I never knew about. Keds, tube socks. I mean, that's just that one song, but you know what I mean? I'm walking around America, New York with the yellow taxis. That feels like a movie. In fact, I was walking with a girlfriend once. I was walking past in New York and I went by I said, oh, that looks like the fire station from Ghostbusters. And she said, I mean, it is. And I was like, wow, okay. That was a very confusing moment for us.
Have you been to California?
Yeah, been to California. It's, wear a flower in your hair when you go there and be dreaming.
I've heard that.
I love it. It's beautiful.
It never rains in Southern California. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, that's not a good thing on the whole. But I think I recently when I had a breakup about 3-4 years ago, and I drove all the way up it wasn't that far, but from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and that was wonderful in an open top car, feeling like a leisure. Obviously, I got sunstroke by the end. It wasn't quite so dramatic, but it felt cool.
Oh yeah, man, that's a lovely drive, no doubt about it. It's always beautiful. I mean, I've lived here for 22 years, but it's still every time I hit like PCH, it's just like put the windows down and crank up the Tom Petty, and it's like it is like being in a movie.
I did that. Yeah, it is, and it's but it's it feels. You're perilously close to the ocean. You can't help wondering whether when they built the road, it wasn't that close to the ocean. And it's almost as if you can just put the word earthquake out of your mind for a little while while you're driving up there. You can just not.
Don't even think about it. I know, it's true.
Don't even think about it.
But it is true. There's something very stereotypical about America. Next time you come out here, I'm going to show you some things in Los Angeles, because I think I could.
That sounds terrifying. That sounds. Let me show you. I'll show you some things in Los Angeles. I'll show you.
I'll take you down to Compton.
Yeah.
Listen, I am just so thrilled to meet you. Some of your YouTube stuff is just fabulous, and what I really like about your YouTube stuff, Veitch, is I called you Veitch.
That's right. Everybody does. It's fine.
What I love about your YouTube stuff, James, is that you keep it very current. You keep it very light. My daughter has watched a lot of your stuff, and we both just laugh so hard. Do you know the comedian Nathan Fielder?
No, stop naming comedians. I don't know.
He had a show called Nathan for You.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I love that show. That's a great show.
And this is what I equate you to, as it were. It's smart, it's intelligent, it's funny, it's self-deprecating. Your humor is just spot on. I'm very curious that you started here in America rather than England, because you guys have a huge stand-up scene over there. At least you did in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. We do, yeah. We still do. It's great. It's just I never had the confidence to do it until I went to America. And I think in America, first of all, there was a kind of pass they gave you. Well, first of all, I was somewhere new, and I was at Sarah Lawrence, which actually, did genuinely promote trying new things, which is great. And so I did, and also. And I tried it because everybody was just wanting you to succeed there, or a lot of people were, and that was good. And also, when I found that when I started doing stand-up, you could get away with a little bit because you're English, so ears would prick up. And then if you could be a little bit kind of, I don't know, Hugh Granty, like disheveled and stuff, and you could do some jokes that would kind of. I don't know. I found I could sort of maybe be like more of a character, which helped me get into stand-up there. So I just didn't have any confidence until I went to, and I went there. One of the reasons I went there was because I knew they did a stand-up course.
Wow,
and I really wanted to do it.
That's really interesting. Most people do have, though. Most comedians, and I know quite a few comedians, and I've had so many here on the show. Most of them do have, like, there is one specific thing that kind of pushed them onto the stage. It's like there's an epiphany,
like childhood trauma,
and it is childhood. Of course, yeah, that's almost always true. But for you, it's interesting that you felt like with a different audience, or at least like people you don't know. And then, like you said, you're already English, so you got the leg up with the accent and everything. And people think you could say shit, and because of your accent, they think that you're, saying something worthy.
It's an oldie English word. Yeah. It was more like, I mean, it was just a lot of things. If you go somewhere new, you can be a different person. You know that feeling when you go and I can be any, I can. And so I went there, and I was someone who I tried to believe in myself, believe that I was funny. And it took me a long, long time to think that I was funny, even though I always wanted to be a comedian. But it took me a long time to work up the courage to do it.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I've got a little sister.
And that's it? Just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Interesting. Your parents are there in London?
My mum is in sort of divided time between London and Oxfordshire, and my dad is just outside London.
Oh, nice. Okay. They must be very proud of you, yeah?
Yeah, I think I think so. It's hard to tell. My mum says stuff like, I'll be like, "Oh, I'll be saying, I've got a tour coming up," and she'll be like, "Okay, have you written any jokes, James?" I was like, "Okay, I mean, yeah, one or two. So, you have to be funny." Yep, that is the name of the game. So now what I do is I just say, "Oh my God, yeah, really? Oh God, I haven't written any jokes.
Yeah.
Have you got any ideas?"
I better start thinking. Yeah, this is something I should think about this. That's funny.
It's the only way to combat it.
Dude, listen, you have played in halls that look like there's 5,000 people there. Is that true?
Probably. I did a tour with Conan, and there were some quite big places there.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
And then at the Melbourne Comedy Festival as well, right?
Big venues there. So it's been great. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
How did you hook up with Conan? Did your publicist help you with that, or?
I can't remember. I think I just got a call, and I answered it, and he just said there was just this. It just said, get in the car, and I came out, and there was this great big orange Buick, and I was just like, all right, fair enough. And then it just carted me off, and suddenly I was there.
I'm so happy for you, really. And guys like Conan, they always do go for a little bit of offbeat, cheeky comedy that is a little smarter than the rest, and that's you.
Thank you.
So it makes sense. All right, you guys, we're going to get to James' story in just a second, but I did want to remind you that, I don't even think, well, I have said it before, but I've only said it like twice before because I just started another show. It's called The Story-Worthy Hour of Power, and it's every Sunday night at 6 p.m., and it's on Zoom, so you can watch anywhere in the world. Tickets are available on brown paper tickets. The guests I've already had, you guys, I've had Kathy Ladman, Ed Krasnick, Abby Schachner, David Crabb, some fabulous talent. So you guys check out The Story-Worthy Hour of Power. It's me and 4 other storytellers in 1 hour of tight comedy, tight storytelling. Screw the networks.
Is it tight?
It's tight. Screw the networks. We have Zoom, folks. We have Zoom. So that's it. I'm doing my own show. That's it. Bottom line. So check out more information at storyworthypodcast.com. All right, you guys, he's here right now. James Veitch. Like I said, I just discovered this guy a few weeks ago, and I'm so happy I did because I've just flown through his catalog of content, and I'm super excited to read his book as well. I just ordered it. It's
a good opportunity to say the word oeuvre. I think you should say, you rarely get to say oeuvre these days.
Wait, what does oeuvre mean?
Oeuvre is like someone's entire catalog, someone's entire work, their whole opus of stuff. Their
catalog.
Yeah, I think it's a French word. I think it means open. I think, or maybe I'm wrong.
Well, spell it. I'm going to write it down.
Oeuvre.
Ouvre.
No, it's got an O. I think it's one of those weird ones. I think it's an OUE. Hang on.
That's a cheese.
OU. No, I don't think it is. Yeah, OEUVRE.
Okay, so we're learning new words as well, you guys. Anyway,
I'll like to take a slice of oeuvre and some gouda. I think gouda.
I have a touch of the gouda, but I'm feeling better. Mm-hmm. James is just hilarious, and check this out. He is responsible for the fastest ever TED Talk to reach over 10 million views. 10 million views. That is incredible. Were you shocked?
Yeah, that was. Yes. I wasn't shocked by the time it got to 10 million because it started off very, very quickly. I was shocked by the time it got to 1 million.
Wow.
And then it was just like, okay, this is obviously taken off quite a lot.
Well, it's just it's a fabulous special. Anyway, you guys can follow James over at his website, veitch.me, and also on Twitter at Veitch Tweets. All right, you guys, wherever you are, put your hands together for James Veitch.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So my story begins. My stories I'm going to tell. I mean, this is, you've seen the TED Talk. So, but I can take you to the end of the story, which I really haven't done before, apart from in my show. So basically, I got an email from a really good friend of mine, a girl called Alex. I woke up in the morning, I got that email, and it said, "Hi, sorry to bother you this time, but I made a quick trip earlier this week to London, UK, and I had my bag stolen from me. The embassy's willing to help by letting me fly without my passport. I just had to pay for a ticket and sell hotel bills." And it was quite early in the morning. I wasn't quite savvy about this sort of thing as I am now. So I was like, what? But the moment I sent that, I realized that obviously it was a scam. It was a friend of mine. Her email account had been hacked into. What happened is they'd hacked into her account. They had reset her password so she can get back in. And then they just sent everyone in her address book this email. And, they said, "Thanks for your response. I need $2,000 to pay hotel bills. Let me know what you can come up with." And I thought about it. And I thought, well, there are 2 ways I could play this. The first is I could just ignore the email or delete it or whatever. But I don't know why. But in the morning, I just thought, well, why not? And I said, "Alex, but how on earth did this happen?" And the game was afoot. I said, I had no idea we were even in London. And £2,000 on hotel bills. You could have stayed at mine for free. I'm working on getting you the cash. Okay. And then she said, thanks a lot. I promised to pay back. And she said, here are the details you need, and send the funds via Western Union. It's always Western Union. I came to realize. And I said, to be honest, I'm a bit annoyed you spent the past week in a lap of luxury and haven't contacted me at all. I thought we were close. What happened? And this is where it got really funny, because obviously the scammer thinks that I think I'm talking to my best mate. And so the scammer has to pretend to be my best, not knowing anything about our relationship. I said, don't be pleased. You know, my head was filled and I was a bit confused. But now you promised my help to help. My mind is at rest. Can't you be able to get the funds by today? I really need to get on the next a viable flight. So I knew I was dealing with a professional. And I thought about it, and I thought I just need to up the stakes. So I said, Alex, before I do this, and I want to, before I do this, tell me one thing. How was I as a lover? I've been wanting to know for ages, but I haven't ever had the courage to ask. You know, you do want to know those sort of things, you know, after a lot of time has passed. And she said, James, don't start. I'm in a mess right now. My head aches. Please just get me out of this mess. I said, if that's the way you're going to behave, maybe you could just dig yourself out of this mess. Remember Tuscany? I don't. I've never been. Those huge waves, I mean, to be fair, they would have to be is inland. Tell me you still love me. Okay, James, I still remember the old times we spent together. And I wish, really, how do you, and I wish we could do it once more. We had the chance to. I will never get the good times. Just get me out of this mess. And I said, but do you love me? And they said, yes, I do love you, Jen, which is great. I like that for two reasons. Because first of all, I'm single. And sometimes it's just nice to hear the words. It's just nice to know that someone, you know, no matter who, albeit someone. And then, and also, if you think about it, somewhere in Nigeria, there is a man telling me he loves me, which I think is just makes the world just seem so wonderful. You know, I do love you, Jane. And I will meet you at the airport once all this is clear. Love you. And I said, prove it. And they said, how? And I said, write me a poem. I didn't know what I was just thought it'd be quite, you know, nothing large, just a simple one, just to me, something about Tuscany. It would mean a lot to me. How safe is Western Union? I said, Western Union's 100% safe. And the poem? I said, I will write the poem. It's not a problem. Why the funds so we can meet? I said, I'm not doing anything until I get a poem. And that, I said, fine, no problem. I can still upping matters. Thanks for your time. And that was the end of that. That was the, I said, we'll always have Tuscany. And that basically got me down on this kind of path of just starting emailing as many scammers as I could, because I just thought that I had such a great day doing that. And I get a lot of them. So I just started emailing lots. I just started replying to as many of these guys as I could.
Now, did you turn, let me ask you, did you turn your spam filter off, like purposefully?
No, what I did is I set up a couple of different email addresses. And then what I did is I went into my spam folder and then copied and pasted the reply to email addresses, and then replied from the fake email addresses that I'd got.
Smart.
And so, so I didn't turn, because, you know, I mean, that'd be a bad idea. And it's I just had so much fun doing it. I just started to replying to all these people, and that's kind of taken me down this kind of crazy path then I got a book out of it. I basically got one published by the New York Times, which was great, and a book and a show. And I was doing regular stand-up at the time. Just, you know, vanilla stand-up. But then I realized that I could it was really fun to tell the story. And I thought it'd be good if I could project it. And I was quite good on, you know, with my computer. So I started to bring around a projector and a screen. And then I realized that I could kind of tell two different stories. So I could pause. So I could say, like, there's a parent not saying things. So I would say, how was I? And then I'd do the clicker, and the clicker would say, as a lover, and I wouldn't have to say that. And I could just kind of react. I could just react to it, and the audience could look at it, and and I could get I could get two laughs for the price of one, but also it was just a different way. It was like it was playing with the things that we're reading and the things that we're thinking or having said to us as well.
Yeah, it's like the rhythm of the joke. So you're getting it on different levels. You're getting it from your voice. Mm-hmm. You're getting it from what's amplified onto the screen and the absurdity of it. Now, these conversations, like that first one you said, that sounds like about 16 or 18 emails back and forth.
Mm.
That
was one day? That was one day.
All day long.
just one day, I just, send a different email back. I mean, occasionally I'd have ones that would go on for weeks, and it was just,
Weeks.
And to be honest, because also it's by the end of it, to be honest, a lot of these guys, I think they're getting savvy now to this sort of thing. They know people just, playing with them. So now if I want to do it, I have to spend quite a lot of time sort of getting them on the hook, so to speak, kind of, just teasing them until they're ready. That one, obviously they are, Alex, it had to be done quickly.
Yeah.
Because, Alex, there was no way she could keep up this ruse. So that there was a reason for that. Well, as often it's just, I got an email, for instance, from Oxfam. I was just replying to it. Oxfam is a charity, basically human, a charity giving away money to
like Red Cross or something, or
yeah, exactly like that. And so I got an email. Your email account was picked at the ongoing Oxfam organization Community Relief Funds in partnership with, in brackets, WHO, to battle poverty and COVID-19 pandemic crisis in your region. You, among 20 lucky once, have benefit the sum of €1 million. For more details, contact this person. So I got in touch and I said, I'm glad someone's doing something. How can I help? And then they got back in touch and they said, okay, it's a donation promoted by Oxfam United Kingdom in conjunction with the World Health Organization. Your email address was picked by an automated random draw. Obviously, I put my email into random draws. I said, thanks for your email. I'm very excited to help in the fight against the pandemic, but I feel very reticent to pass details to you over the internet. My grandchildren have told me this is dangerous. Can you help? Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then they asked for my info, like my full name, address, etc. So I gave them some details of someone else I just made up. And I said, because they want me to help with COVID, I said, I can do this. And I said, I believe I can use the funds to build a community area where we can share important information on the COVID crisis. I also believe we could potentially buy in ventilators because the NHS seems to be having a problem making them. My wife has been fashioning masks out of cloth, and I think that we could potentially outsource this to help the health service. Would this be acceptable to you? And so they said, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, how quickly can I begin work on the ideas I have in mind? I'd like to set up an information center close by where people can come together and really get close and work out how best to deal with the issues that COVID-19 has raised. Do you think it will be possible to put some of the money into coming up with a vaccine? And I said, yes, but we have more of that, etc. Okay, can I use some of the money for vaccine research? Because they ignored me for quite a while. Anyway, they said, yes. And I said, okay, what are the goals of Oxfam I must accomplish? Would it be foolish to try and find the vaccine myself? I have no experience, but I have attended a number of doctor's appointments, and it seems feasible that something must have rubbed off. And then we had some more. Okay. And then, so they said, that's fine. Oxfam choose winners to support their society. As you have stated on the previous email, I guess that's what Oxfam would like you to do. Reach other to the poor once around you in this hard time. Okay, I said, here are my first ideas, and bear in mind the details aren't fully worked out yet. The first part of the money I want to use to build a space where the community can gather. Inside this enclosed space, we'll be able to discuss at close quarters the COVID-19 problem. I'll hold a special meeting and put on a buffet of finger foods. Perhaps we could even put the Oxfam logo up. Would you be okay with this? It's a mixer, essentially. We'll also have another place so people can bring items they're not using home and offer them to others. Then, using the other half, I want to set up a research facility in my basement. I know what you're thinking. Do I really think I can come up with a cure? Well, let me tell you that when I was a young boy, I contracted chickenpox. To fight it off, I drank a thimble full of vinegar and chased it down with a Whatsit. That's a type of crisp over here. And let me tell you something. I've never contracted chickenpox again. Draw your own conclusions. So,
and then you just send it back.
Yeah. So I said, so now I'm just emailing, because they've got me in touch with the bank. So now I'm kind of trying to play it cool a little bit, just to kind of get them on the hook again, and then I'll go in hard and fast about the vaccine. I think he should help with the
That's the least he can do. Now, when does the ruse usually end? Like, it just ends cold, or do they say like "fuck off" or
They sometimes say that. I mean, some things for every one of these that I get that's in the book or that I've performed, there are about 10 that didn't make the cut. Like I've emailed lots of people, and what will happen is either their email account will be stopped by the provider. You know, they'll be get reported, or they'll realize it's spam and they'll just cancel it. So my emails get bounced back, or I get rumbled. You know, they just aren't. They kind of know what I'm doing, but that's rare because they kind of want to believe, just like the people they're scamming want to believe. It's kind of funny. There's a little dance going on.
Okay, so have you ever really been scammed before all this? Have you ever gotten scammed?
Yeah, I'm sure I have, in the sense that, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever been on vacation. If you've ever been on holiday and you walked into a tourist trap or something, what you just know that they're not, that you're being ripped off in some sort of capacity. There's that kind of feeling. I had a thing happen to me a while ago where a guy came, and I was selling a phone because I bought a new phone and I was selling my old one. And a guy came round, and I was also, at the time, I was on the phone to a company making a complaint about something, and it had taken me forever to get that far, to get to that tier of complaints person. And so I was dealing with this guy who was counting out £20 notes onto the counter, and I was just kind of, and he paid me, and I was just going, and then he left. And basically within about, I would say, 2 minutes of him leaving, I kind of took a closer look at the notes and saw that they were clearly, I mean, the Queen looked like a womble. It was ridiculous. It was, and I was just, this is not. And then I realized that a lot of the serial numbers were just the same, and I was so upset because I felt emasculated. I suppose I felt because I should have seen that. It's an awful feeling. It's an awful feeling when you kind of put stuff together. And it all kind of makes sense.
It happens so frequently when you are traveling, because obviously you're in a different place and a different, everything is new to you. And it is so upsetting to get ripped off, because like when people come to America, like I am like the first person to try to like be an ambassador, as it were. Like, I want you to have a good time. Like,
no one gets ripped off in America.
Well, that's not true. But I'm just saying,
right. In New York, it's actually famous for no one ever getting ripped off.
Like, I like to, I don't know. Like, I like to change the stereotype or whatever, and I always want to believe the best in people because I'm a good person or whatever. Now, that being said, I have traveled extensively because I was a flight attendant. So I was in Istanbul. This is just like 3 years ago. I was a flight attendant years ago. I'm just saying that's why
with what airline?
It was with US Air, and I used to come to England all the time. We flew into Gatwick. It was then I turned to US Airways, and now I think it's gone. But the point is, just a few years ago, I was in Istanbul, and in the guidebook it says only get a car or a taxi from a stand. Only get a car or taxi from a stand. In other words, don't just let somebody flag you down and give you a ride. But we had been walking all day, and it was super crowded, and it was super hot. And we come out of this spice market, and everybody's real close together. And it's just, you just got to breathe. And we just wanted to get to the hotel. So we flagged down the car. Boom. Number one mistake, right off the bat, big mistake. We get in this car. What the fuck are we doing? Like right off the bat, I'm so mad at myself because as soon as we get in, we knew it was a mistake. The guy starts flying like 90 miles an hour. He doesn't go across the bridge he's supposed to go across. He takes this other way, of course, goes round and round. When he pulls up in front of our hotel, he won't pull up in front of the hotel. He won't go to the valet because they know then that the valet, they could have a camera at the hotel or whatever. So he passes the hotel. And then we're like, hey, the hotel's back there. And he's like, no, got to get out. So now we're going to hand him money. And here comes the big switch, right? So this is where the whole scam goes down. And it was very upsetting because we give him the money. Then he's in the front seat and he does something on the seat, comes back and he picks up the note and he goes, this is counterfeit. This isn't real money. Because of course he has that on the seat beside, and it was this big thing, and it's like,
did you say to him? Did you know that he knew that you know?
Yes,
because there's a thing.
Yes, and it was
you're
all
like, well, obviously
around,
you're just doing a scam.
Except the point is, he kind of has us, unless we just try to jump out of the car. I mean, it was it was just a really ugly moment, and we let him get away with it. And it was just maybe $40 that he
Yeah.
scammed over us. But we were both like so bummed. It kind of ruined the day because it was like, I'm not saying it was my fault and it wasn't my friend's fault, but yet it was our fault because we read in the guidebook, don't go to any car unless it's in a at a stand. And in Istanbul, this is like the number one problem. This isn't even like down low. So we disregarded the warning because we thought it was just late and we're tired and he seems nice enough, so we fucked up.
So hang on, what are you annoyed about? Because you're saying a bunch
I'm
of things.
annoyed
You're annoyed
because
that you
because he was driving too fast. He clearly wasn't like registered.
No, yeah, but and also scammed you. But are you annoyed with yourself for not taking the advice, or are you annoyed with the scam happened?
All of it. It pisses me off.
No.
It just makes me angry.
Yeah, I can tell. Thinking about it pisses me off that you hearing that story because but
I mean, as an adult,
because
in other words, when I was younger or like in college, I remember getting scammed by this like cruise ship. These people called and they said, oh no, this trip, it's like $100 or whatever. You got to come. And I'm like, cause I'm like 22. I'm like, I need to speak with your manager. And so they pull over like another kid and he goes, oh no, I'm the manager. And then I go, this doesn't sound true. And he goes, oh, it's true. And I say, okay, here's my money. And then, but I was a kid. And then another time I got like scammed. There was another thing that happened. But my point is now in my 40s, now I'm in my 50s, but in my 40s, like I shouldn't be getting scammed anymore. I think that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what happens. And he knew that you knew that was a scam, that he had done something to the money, that the money you handed over, because you probably got that from a travel agency. Like that money is not fake. And he knows that you know that. But the point is, it's he's got you in a position. That's not necessary. That's not even I don't think that's even qualifies as a scam. That's just him basically robbing you because, I mean, he's making it sound like a scam, but you knew that was not the case. And you were like, okay, well, you're obviously threatening us essentially. So here is what I think is a scam is when you are hoodwinked into believing, because when you gave him the money, you didn't believe. I assume that
yeah, that's right. We knew at the time this is wrong, but we just wanted to get the fuck out.
So it's basically just
that's
someone
so
that's someone
threatening
you, and I think that's different. There is a feeling though when you've had the wool pulled over your eyes that it's that is horrible. But yeah, that annoys me as well. And the thing is, a lot of vulnerable adults, what the people they prey on often are, people who are. I mean, I hear a lot of stories of people. I don't want to generalize, but from people who's their octogenarian grandfather has,
they're seniors,
has
they're
given
alone,
away a lot of money. But also, and they feel like that they don't have that kind of power, that they used to be an important part of the world going round, and they had important jobs, and they were but now there's nothing. So to have this little business, have your fingers in a few pots of money and be able to kind of have that to yourself is kind of a nice feeling. And it's very hard because these people want to keep it to themselves. But they also scam children. I spoke to someone who said that her son, her friends, basically her son's friend, apparently his family said he just stopped eating. He stopped eating, and he was looking just like he had a cloud over his head. And they finally got out of him. And they only got it out of him because he told their son that he was going to leave. That he was like, oh, I'm leaving home. By the way, just that you know, you won't see me around these parts. He's like 10. I'm leaving home. And they were like, and so the kid told his parents, and the parents phoned their parents, and eventually they got it out of the kid that basically he received an email about basically money that this email said, you have spent a lot, like you owe $10,000 in money for Minecraft mods or things like that. So something that he'd done, online gaming. Yeah. And your family, we're going to contact your family, and your family are going to be in debt for this. And he was like, he thought, well, that's it. I've only had 10 years,
sad.
But life's over now. So I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave, and kept it to himself. Awful, absolutely awful. And imagine how heavy that would weigh on you. I mean, I must admit, I do like the idea. I find it quite sweet, the idea of him going, well, that's it. I'm out of here. I've brought shame upon my family, aged 10 years old, and it's time to start a new life.
Aww, what a
sweetheart.
Like
going off with like a little handkerchief on his, on it, shoulder. But yeah, horrifying.
Well,
so,
and I have a daughter, she's 13, and I'm always trying to keep her like a little bit streetwise, we're here.
Oh, wow. They love it when their parents do that. What do you say? Do you use words like wicked and stuff like that?
I say, Alabama, listen, if an adult asks you for directions, get the hell out of there, because there's no reason for an adult to ever ask a child for directions. That should never happen. So like that to me is a warning. If somebody yells out their window, where is something? Get out, because there's no way they should be asking a kid. Is that true or false?
I just thinking about it. Yes. It's not like we live in that kind of old towny. Hey, kid, where's Main Street? We're not. But I just was thinking that I just did have this image of her at school. Someone who's visiting the school, maybe a new teacher, says, sorry, do you know where's the staff room? And she just runs.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, stranger danger. You're like, I'm a teacher. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And then especially like you said, for seniors, that makes me so sad. My mom's like 84, and to think that somebody would call her and try to pull her along, it's just depressing for several reasons, and I guess it just can happen at any time in our lives. We just have to, I don't know, what's the message? I mean, do you leave us with any words of hope at the end of .con?
I'll try. Hang on. I can't remember. Yeah. Well, no, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why why everyone should buy this book is because it's by reading it, it's funny, but it also, you just learn how they go. Yeah. Like all the words they use, all the techniques they use, all the spelling errors, all the Western Union. If anyone wants to be paid by Western Union, that is a massive alarm. Yeah. I'm not saying they're not legitimate business, but most, it's untraceable. So if anybody wants to be paid by that.
Oh, is that what it is? I didn't realize that. It's untraceable.
Yeah, it's untraceable. And so the consignment boxes, capital letters, all those sorts of things. I mean, I did have one. I had one thing happen to me basically. There was this guy who I'd been scammed or was talking to. There was a scammer. There was a scammer who I'd been communicating with quite a lot because he'd just been a part of a lot of these scams called Solomon Odonka. And I sent him an email because actually at the time I thought it would be nice to know what it was like to be a scammer. Because I didn't know that. I thought I knew what it was like to get scammed, etc. So I sent him an email. I said, Solomon, I expect you've sussed out that I've known from the start that you're a scammer. And you know that I know that you know. So I was wondering whether you'd be willing to do an interview with me about what it's like to be a scammer. And he obviously didn't know because the email I got back said this. He said, I cannot believe I've been wasting my precious airtime with a madman like you. What a waste is this? You are a total disgrace to manhood. Go fuck yourself. And that was that. You were a total disgrace to manhood. Go fuck yourself. Now, on the back of the book, on the paperback, I had these we had these quotations, and it was like The Guardian, relentlessly funny or something. The Independent, brilliant. The New York Times, I laughed my ass off. Solomon Odonka, you are a total disgrace to manhood. Go fuck yourself. And I really like the fact that he was quoted.
Solomon Odonka. Where was Solomon saying he was from? Nigeria?
I don't know. I don't know if we ever got to that. Really? He became I like the name, but he became like a kind of a staple. I've said his name so many times. I imagine I keep because because technically I only wrote half this book. It was mostly
the letters.
So it's the scammers. So the publishing they were like the publishers were like they're not. I was like they're not going to try and claim royalties. Don't worry. They're not going to come forward.
I think what's a great part about your book is it's a fun book to read aloud with friends and family because it just gets more and more ridiculous. And it's just so funny. Boy, I got to tell you, James, you're like pushing boundaries. You're breaking molds. You're coming up with a new spin on something that we've all experienced, but nobody really ever talked about it. So congratulations on just being so clever. It's very smart.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's very kind of you to say. But I have to listen back to the other episodes now to see whether you say that to all the other guests.
Yeah, I do say that to everybody. Hey, listen, do you have your eye on any theaters here in the U.S. that you'd like to perform in when this whole thing is over?
I'd love to go and perform, but I loved performing at the UCB. That was really fun.
Oh, nice.
In
New York.
And also No. In the I did from that did like a 5-minute open spot there back in the day, but no, I'm talking about the one in
LA.
you know, the in LA.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, because I think the
But,
UCB in New York actually closed down. Did you hear that?
it did not
Yeah,
really.
it did. It went
I
under.
love that place.
I know. No,
It was
a
amazing. Well,
big
no wonder
deal.
they were selling $2 beers. I mean, why would that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's actually it was a big deal.
There should be some sort of, it's just all we're gonna one day we're gonna wake up and we're just gonna look around and just realize that everything's a Shake Shack or a Sephora. Which one's not the beer? Sephora, yeah, or a Target, and just be like, well, where did it
Where did
all
the art
go?
go? Where did the culture go? What do we do? Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
like where I live here. I'm sure it's similar. Well, I don't know, but
Do you live in Silver Lake? I bet you live in Silver Lake.
I do.
No?
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
it's
there we go. Nailed it.
lots and lots. Did the flannel give it away? Is it the flannel?
I don't know. It's just everyone cool lives in Silver Lake, so I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, but there's so many small little black box theaters, and we're really lucky. And the UCB is still open here. There's a huge one now on Sunset. Did you know that? There's one on Franklin was the original, and now there's a much bigger one.
Oh,
Sunset.
okay. So I was thinking about Sunset, but yeah, I love the one for Franklin as well.
Yeah, that's a
lovely
cute little one, but there's a much bigger one. So hopefully we'll be back to
Do you know
normal.
the place I really like? I like that place called La Mille Coffee. Do you know that place?
La Mille. Huh.
MALAMILL Coffee. I think it's like in it's opposite a place called Milk.
Oh yeah, down on it's either Beverly or Melrose.
Yeah, well, probably. I don't know. It's cute. I like that place to work. That's one of my favorites. Hangouts.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I'm just so impressed with what you're doing. And pandemic or no pandemic, you can keep doing it because the scams are never going to end.
Yeah, that's great. They just keep giving me material. I mean, I'm doing a lot of other things now, but I can't help but reply if I get a funny one asking me how to solve the pandemic.
It's just great, and the rhythm of it is so. It's so funny, and I'm just really excited about your whole act. So you guys find James Veitch over there on YouTube. He's got so much content. You could just watch it all day. It is nice now how like last night, my daughter and I were watching it on a regular TV screen. You know, you don't have to like just be in front of your tiny computer watching YouTube anymore. You could just watch it. It's television is what it is, you know. So
the problem is you had to ask directions to that TV screen.
Well,
and
that
created a problem because
true.
obviously she was. Yeah, you can. I like that. I'm doing a lot of stuff on YouTube now just because I've got time to I just make it and film it and edit it myself at home, and it's lovely.
Yeah, well, it's just fabulous. Okay, you guys can also find him over at his website, veitch.me. So it's veitch.me. That's it. Wow, that's nice. That's clever. That's awesome. And you guys don't forget that I have just started the Storyworthy Hour of Power every Sunday night. So let's see, James, if I had you on that show, 6 p.m. in LA, that's 2 a.m. to you though.
Yeah, I'd be shit-faced.
So
I would definitely be drinking before that.
You'd be 8 pints in, and
it only takes half a pint for me to get drunk, but yes.
What's all the pubs are closed over there now, or are they open?
I can't imagine them being open right now. I mean, I'm not much of a drinker. I haven't met anyone at the pub, so but I assume they're still closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't been in lockdown.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is all so odd. But because of this, I met you. So there you go. Hooray, COVID-19.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to repeat that. Okay.
All right, you guys, listen, don't forget to tune into the Storyworthy Hour of Power. Like I said, you can find out the details at storyworthypodcast.com. All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented James Veitch, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, my name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a story-worthy week.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy Podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
Cedar Point's Frontier Festival is back and brimming with new flavor. From May 26th through June 19th, this Old West-inspired street fest will fill Cedar Point with live bands, nightly hoedowns, and a hubbub of family activities. Yep, you'll find wheelbarrows packed with sunflowers and characters straight out of the frontier, but you'll also discover 25 cherry-inspired dishes and over 65 cocktails, seltzers, and beers. Get all the fixins, plus savings to boot with the Frontier Festival Bundle, which includes admission, parking, and a tasting card. Only at cedarpoint.com.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a monster truck driver to deliver pizza.
And the neighbors are going wild. You can hear that engine from a mile away, Fran.
And he's foregoing the driveway and heading right up the lawn and over the azaleas. What a power move.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
With 6-foot tires and a roll cage, this pizza guy could quite literally crush the competition.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.